Okay, guys, welcome to the second call of the 90-day rank run. I hope all of you are on target towards hitting your goals. You know, those of you who are going for Jade or Pearl or, obviously hitting the Sapphire bonus and going for the full $5,000, that would be a nice Christmas present to have come December. I'm sure we would all agree. And who knows, maybe even an elite or two. Let's see what happens. I would love to be surprised. I like that Emil calling in from Planet Diamond. It's definitely on your vision board. So, guys, Paula and Malcolm, Judy Murray, pretty much everyone in the Global Partners Group is at Milan, the expo. But I have an amazing training for you. I don't know why I haven't actually shared this with you guys. This is so powerful. So I'm going to do a training on really what money is in most people's mind and how I believe you can actually attract a lot more of it into your life. It's worked for me. If you guys believe that would be good. But I can tell you it's worked for me. So I'm going to share the strategy on exactly what it is that is my philosophy, right? So remember, everything in life, you take what you want to believe and you put it on like Velcro. And you can also take it off just like Velcro, and you can put it back on. So this is simply my philosophy that I've adopted. It might work for you, it might not. I'm simply going to share with you what really has worked for me in my life. Fair? Sound good? So I learned this from a multi-millionaire mentor friend of mine, and he basically taught me, a lot of people are chasing the money, right? You guys are working really hard, you're hustling, but at the end of the month, most people have more month than money. So you end up at the end of the month, and because you don't have much money, what happens? You're emotionally, you don't feel wealthy, right? You feel pretty broke. But then when you get paid, right, on your payday, all of a sudden your emotions elevate and you feel wealthy because you got a big bank account. But how long does that last before you feel down and drained again because there's nothing left in the bank account? And what happens is that our money is dictating our emotions. You guys get that? Do you agree with what I'm saying? So your money is constantly dictating how you feel. If you have a lot of money in the bank, you feel good. If you don't have a lot of money in the bank, you feel empty. You don't feel good. You feel stressed. You feel, like basically you don't feel feelings that are actually in line with wealth. You have feelings that are vibrating, feelings of poverty, of lack, of scarcity. And therefore, the universe responds with giving you more of what it is that you're feeling, the signal that you're broadcasting. So I'm a huge believer that your emotional bank account actually is what should lead, not the financial. So most people's financial bank accounts, right, are dictated purely by what they think they need to do on a daily basis. They need to go out there, they need to hustle, make more calls, and this all helps. But the latest science is proving that if you actually do it the other way around, if you feel wealthy first, right, the financial will actually start to match the emotional. This is what the latest findings in science is now proving. So your financial actually follows your emotional, right? Most people, however, it's the other way around, right? Their emotion follows their financial. That's how most people are. Like I said, their financial situation is dictating how they feel. But if you guys understand, right, how the latest science is basically saying that our actual feeling state or vibration tracks to us more wealth, then the financial will follow the emotional. So I'm going to give you guys some tools to really implement this in your life. That's worked for me. That can really help you to raise your emotional bank account, so to speak, and then your financial bank account will follow. Here's the trick. It's like looking in a mirror. You don't see the reflection instantly. It takes about 6 weeks, right? Minimum. It's called a Newtonian to quantum transition point in science. It takes about 6 weeks for a reflection in the outer world, so to speak, to match the inner world. So if you start to practice this and after 2-3 weeks you say, oh, this stuff doesn't work, you know, I've been practicing raising my emotional bank account for the last 3 weeks and the financial, I don't see an increase, and you quit, well, that's because you haven't stayed consistent enough for long enough. It takes a minimum of 6 weeks. Think of an oil tanker, a massive oil tanker on the ocean. If I turn the ship, right, how long after I've turned the wheel does the actual ship actually start to turn? Because it's so big, that ship, you may turn the wheel completely, but you won't actually see the ship move until a few kilometers down into the ocean. It's a similar thing with this. You've got to practice this for a minimum of 6 weeks, and then you will start to see the changes in your financial bank account. So how do we raise our emotional bank account? How do we change our how do we feel wealthy? Right? Even when we're not. So you're looking at your bank account now, you might say, geez, well, how do I feel wealthy, Oliver? Because my current bank account it's not what I want it to be. But if you understand that if you just keep feeling wealthy, even though the bank account doesn't reflect it at the present moment, it has to match. It has to, your financial will have to come up and match the emotional, right? If you just stay consistent for more than 6 weeks, minimum 6 weeks or more, right? So this is what I do, and this is what I've been taught. The fastest way to raise the emotional bank account is one word: gratitude. Gratitude, right? By focusing on what we have and not on what we don't have, we instantly feel wealthier. Make sense? If I focus on what I have as opposed to what I don't have, do you not agree that I'm going to start to feel wealthier? If I'm looking at all the people that have more than me, I'm going to feel less than, and I'm going to feel poverty. I'm going to feel lack. But if I actually look at what I do have and I choose to tune out of what I don't have, all of a sudden my emotional bank account, my frequency of wealth is raising. My vibration of wealth is raising. Does that make sense? So focus. My advice to you guys is spend time. I've actually got it right here. Just show you somewhere. I read it every morning. So whenever I'm feeling a little bit low, like things aren't working out for me, and I'm feeling, whatever, down, I go back and I read my gratitude list. This is over 200, not 10, not 5. This is 200 things that I'm grateful for. 200. Okay? I'll give you a couple just to give you an idea. I'm grateful, and it doesn't have to be big things, guys. You know, when you look at people that are in prison for crimes they didn't commit, I guarantee you they would be grateful just to be able to see the sunshine and take a breath of fresh air. You know? So it doesn't have to be the fact that you don't have that car, that house. There's many things to be grateful for, right? There's people that, I had a friend of mine, one of the biggest changing moments of my life. He passed away on his 18th birthday. Used to play tennis with him every day. I grew up with this guy. His name was Carl, one of my best friends. And on his birthday, he died, and he was just about to go to America on a full tennis scholarship. Is that not terrible, right? But I looked at it and I thought, I can see this as a tragedy, or I can use his life as a lesson. What would he want? Would he want me to mourn his death, or would he want me to take a meaning out of what happened and actually use that? And I thought he would definitely want that. He would want me to take something out of that event. And I realized, like, every single day that I live after him was a gift, because that could have been me if I had gone out with him that night. So every day I wake up, I'm grateful that I'm just awake. Literally, just the fact that I woke up is something to be grateful for. So I wrote that down. You know, I'm grateful that I'm born in this period of time where we can fly around the world and see the whole planet. You know, our ancestors could never travel and see other countries. The technology didn't exist then. Grateful for my family and their support. I'm grateful for my grandmother. I'm grateful for the income that I earn, right? You can come up with anything you're grateful for, write down, I would advise 200 plus, and that will really shift your baseline, so to speak, vibration of your emotional bank account, and you'll start to feel wealthier. And then you need to top it up on a daily basis. And I just write down 5 things I'm grateful for every evening. Every single night before I go to sleep, I write down 5 things I'm grateful for. But don't just write them down. You need to feel what it is you write down, right? This is the thing with the latest science. It's proving that the heart emits a frequency that the mind doesn't. The mind emits a frequency much weaker than the heart. So the heart's frequency is so much stronger than that of the mind. So if you feel what you're grateful for and you get into an emotional space, that is a lot more powerful than thinking about what you're grateful for, if that makes sense, right? So you really got to feel and tune into that feeling of gratitude, and that is actually you emitting that vibration, not just thinking the conscious thought. It's the feeling that you want to start to get into, right? So gratitude is the best way to start this and to make the change, right? After that, I would create what's called a magic moments list, right? Magic moments list. And on that list, try sit down and write down as many as you can. Think about every magic moment you've had in your life. A magic moment is something like going skydiving. The moment I went Ruby and I was on stage. A Coldplay concert with my parents. Jumping off the highest bungee jump bridge in the entire world. That was another one of my magic moments. Going to Egypt and riding a camel through the middle of Cairo at 1 o'clock in the morning. That was another one of my magic moments. Getting my brand new car. That was another one of my magic moments. Going to Greece and standing in Santorini in a villa. That was another magic moment. Watching the sunset. You guys, think about all the amazing times and write as many of them down as you can. And every time you have an experience like that, add it to the list and build on that list. Build that list. Build that list. Mine's at over 2,000. So trust me, when I look at that magic moments list, do you guys think I feel lack, or do you think I feel abundance? Do you think I'm tuning into the frequency of scarcity, or do you think I'm tuning into the vibration or the frequency of abundance and wealth? See, so what you focus on is what expands. What you think about is what you bring about. So you got to constantly be controlling what it is you choose to focus your consciousness on. Most people are just letting it be dictated by the media, the radio stations, which most of the stuff is negative. Guys, 98% of it's negative. So what do you expect your results to be in your life? If you're putting in so much negativity, what are you going to get out? Negativity. So put in positivity by taking control and creating this magic moments list, this gratitude list. And then the third thing I use is called an inventory of awesomeness. And this is simply what's awesome about yourself. And if you guys are old school, this is a cool technique. Put a jar in your kitchen. I've got a jar on my table here. And on the jar says the awesome jar. And every day I have to put in one thing in there that's awesome. Anything. About myself, about the day, whatever. So just got a new sign up in my business. That's pretty awesome. Put it in the jar. Put it in the jar. Every day you put something in this jar. And when you're not feeling good, you go to the jar and you read a couple things. It just reminds you how awesome your life actually is, because it's quite easy to start focusing on the negative, right? And the inventory of awesomeness should be a lot about yourself. Write down a whole list. Try to do it after this call of 50 things that are awesome about you. You know, the fact that you're doing network marketing and going against the grain, doing what most people would never do because they're too worried about what people think about them. You guys are already doing awesome just by being involved in network marketing. That's freaking awesome. How awesome is that? Write down how awesome I don't know what you're good at. Some of you might be really good at a musical instrument. Some of you might be good with people, you know. Some of you might be fantastic with numbers, mathematics. I don't know, you know. So write down whatever's awesome about you and start to read that and add to that every day. Somebody says, gee, you know, you're really awesome at this. Write it down. Keep adding to it. And guys, if you focus on doing this every day for 6 weeks, trust me, your bank account balance I guarantee you it cannot be the same, because your emotional bank account is raising, you're feeling wealthier, and the latest science is now showing and proving that if your physical being vibration raises, then the outer world has to match the inner world. The world of form, materialism, has to match the world of vibration, the spiritual world, right? So if you can feel wealthier, you are going to attract more wealth in your life. And I can promise you it's quicker doing this than going out every day and feeling poor and working hard is hard. It's a much harder process. I'll give you an analogy. If you're in the ocean and the current is coming against you, you're swimming into the current. That is feeling terrible, waking up every day, not doing anything about your emotional bank account, but just working harder and harder and harder. It's futile. It's like swimming against the current. But if you start to feel wealthy and you focus on doing these small exercises on a daily basis, and you start to raise your vibration, right? It's like turning around and that current starts to flow with you. You all of a sudden you work, but it's much easier. It's much more effortless. All of a sudden you get to where you need to be with much less effort, if that makes sense. So, guys, I'm not going to go into too much detail. Obviously, this is, this isn't a quantum physics call or anything like that, but I can tell you I've applied these principles in my life and they work. They really work. The outer world is a complete reflection of your inner state of being. If you want to attract more money in your life, you need to start focusing on what you are grateful for. And if you even go back into all the greatest scriptures and texts, they say this in many different ways. Many different prophets have said this, that we are, and it's our birthright to be and attract wealth into our lives. So you need to just be able to feel wealthy to create and to attract that life. And there's actually quite a very powerful podcast by Greg Braden, who's somebody that I follow. And what I'll do is I'll share that in the chat here. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. And this explains how to pray in power, really. Talks about, let me send you this. I was listening to it today. Braden, power. Here we go. So again, guys, if this works for you, put it on. If it doesn't work for you, you don't put it on. Again, I'm not here to impose my beliefs or views on anyone or anything. I respect everyone's beliefs and views, but I can just tell you that this has worked in my life. And if you apply it and you start focusing on gratitude and what's going well in your life, magic moments, how awesome you are, because you freaking are awesome. I don't know if everyone knows your chance of being born is like 1 in 400 million to 1. So just the fact you're here is a miracle. You already won the lotto. That's something huge to be grateful for. That's the YouTube link to the Power of Prayer by Greg. He's on the cutting edge of this stuff when it comes to how to basically to attract from the inner world into the outer world. So this is very powerful stuff, guys. So anyways, what I'm going to do is we've got quite a few people on the call, 30 people on the call. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to end the recording and then I'm going to open up for questions, guys. Lindy, if anyone else on the phone, leaders that have been using gratitude, if there's anyone on this call that's been using gratitude, using magic moments, visualization, any sort of practice on a daily basis, and they found it's worked, to help them in their business, I'm happy to have you share quickly, say a couple things or type in the chat box. I hope you guys find that valuable. But the bottom line is, after this call, make the time. It's worth it. Sit down. If it takes you 2 hours or 10 days, it doesn't matter. You need to write down and get to a point where you can write down 200 plus things you're grateful for. And I would try to do the same with your magic moments. Magic moments, maybe less, maybe like 50, 20 to 50. If you could do that, would be great. And inventory of awesomeness, you should come up with at least 100. Everyone on this call is freaking awesome. So, okay, cool. So I'm going to end the recording. Thanks for watching.